What's up, guys? I decided I'm gonna make a video about hygiene tips for women in the Army because I truly never had anyone to tell me these things when I was just starting out in my Army career, and I wish I had because I struggled a lot, and I'll tell you why as I'm going, but there's just a lot of things that I wish I knew that I want to impart on my younger women who are just now joining. I just have like a lot of knowledge I would love to share that I feel like will be super helpful. If you don't know what the field is, basically it just means that you're doing a training event, training exercise outside. So, you know, you're taking a bunch of gear, you're going camping, the Army's version of camping, for an extended period of time to do training exercises and play Army, essentially. So I grew up a very outdoorsy, campy, granola type of girl, but you don't have the same access or ability to bring like your comfort items that you would, you know, if you're just going camping with your family. So I struggled a lot in the beginning. I didn't really understand what I needed. I didn't really, I didn't think I could bring a lot of things, and looking back on it now, I'm like, who the fuck cares? But again, when you're just starting out, you don't know. So I want to be like a big sister to you guys or anyone who is joining the Army and has no idea how to take care of themselves in the field and be comfortable, because it's okay to be comfortable in the field, even though there's this perpetuated idea that you have to embrace the suck. Yes, that's part of it, but you can also be comfortable in places that you can. So without further ado, let's get into it. So for those of you that don't know, I was a sapper platoon leader for a Bradley platoon at Fort Hood for basically the entire year of 2019 and then partially into 2020. It was a very field heavy job. We had Bradleys, and when you have Bradleys, you have to take them to ranges that are big enough so that you can maneuver around. So we were in the field probably close to like at least 100 days. I definitely have a lot of experience being in the field, and I learned a lot of things. And you know, my experience might be, well, it will be very different than somebody who was a light unit. I was a heavy unit. So, you know, something like someone who had a platoon, an infantry platoon at Fort Bragg, probably has a very different experience than what I did, but I'm just gonna give you the tips that I had. And if you're in a similar situation, you can definitely bring like the same stuff that I'm gonna show you today. Yeah, so the first thing I wanna talk about is hair. So I'm so happy the Army allows women to wear their hair in braids and ponytails now. I mean, I have my hair in a bun right now, but I normally wear it in a ponytail. When I was a platoon leader, I was not allowed to do that, but I still did do it. I wore my hair in a braid a lot because the helmets, the CBCs that you have to put on your head when you are inside of a Bradley, my bun did not fit inside of it. So I had to braid my hair, and I would get yelled at a lot for it, but literally I couldn't do anything about it. So luckily now women can do that regardless. But the thing that I would recommend is bringing, obviously, dry shampoo. This is pretty like universal. Most girls use this. The one thing I'll say about this though is if you're in a deserty environment, which is where I was, and you're in a Bradley and you're, you know, up in the turret and your hatch is open and your head is out, all that dust is gonna get into your hair and really dry out your hair, and basically it's not even gonna be greasy, it's gonna just be like dusty. And there's not much that dry shampoo can do for that if that's what your job is. So I never use this, but if you are in a situation where you're not driving through dust for 8 hours a day, then you probably would really like this. I will say, I did wash my hair in the field. It's funny because I thought, you know, I would get made fun of for that. And to be honest, I did have an NCO that made fun of me for it, but I had a different NCO who he actually told me that he washes his hair in the field and showed me how he does it. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. So shout out to you, Sergeant Parker, for making it cool to wash your hair in the field. But basically what he showed me to do is we have these big water containers and we would put them on top of the Bradley, and you just kind of have somebody push the button so it's like a little baby shower, and then you wash your hair really fast. And you know, make sure you have enough water and it's not, you know, you're gonna be black on water because you're fucking washing your hair. But luckily we had water delivered like multiple times a day and we weren't low on water. So this is, use your brain with this, but it worked really well for me, and it was such a nice feeling to just have clean hair, because we were, I think this was during gunnery the first time that I had done this, and just to, you know, have a nice clean head of hair made my life feel so much easier, and I was like so much happier just to be out there. So I'm really glad that he showed me how to do that. And then I also would recommend like a good leave-in conditioner. You know, if you can't really condition your hair out there, like you can just wash it. Just put something like this in it. This is the Way leave-in conditioner. You can buy like a cheap one, obviously, like doesn't matter, but it does help with your hair. And when you put it into a bun or a braid or a ponytail or whatever, and if you have to do it wet, make sure you put that stuff on it so it dries kind of like with conditioner in it. It doesn't dry like crusty or anything. And I know that you're not supposed to put your hair in a bun when it's wet, but dude, being in the military, there's so many things you have to do that you're not supposed to do beauty-wise. So another thing too, if you are going to use hair ties, which obviously you do. So when you use hair ties, I used the beginning of my Army career, just like those thin, like regular, just like the hair ties we all grew up with, not scrunchies per se. And I actually had a scenario where one of my NCOs had to cut the hair tie out of my hair because it got so ratted and like knotted up in there, like I literally couldn't take it out. So we had to take a knife and cut it out, and it was not only embarrassing, but my hair ruined. So I would recommend these kind of like soft scrunchies, obviously the same hair color that you have, but these are great. I never had an issue with these. Once I got these, they were, my hair just, it helped my hair a lot. I ended up having to cut like 7 inches off of my hair after getting the hair tie cut out of my hair because it just had broken off so much. Like the top layer of my hair, it basically looked like a mullet. So yeah, don't be like me. Take care of your hair in the fields. If you have long hair, even if you have shorter hair, just take care of your hair. You know, you won't regret it. So because I had a Bradley, and I actually had 4 Bradleys, and an LMTV, which is the giant truck, and a Humvee, I had a lot of, well, not a lot of space, but I did have the ability to bring some extra things. For example, that cooler right there, I actually brought that with me every time I went to the field, and I would have basically like my gunner and my driver, we would just put all our drinks that we'd want in there. So like White Monster, Gatorades, Powerades, waters, and we just threw that like right in the back of my Bradley, and it was great. It was a nice thing. It's not a hygiene tip per se, but it is nice to have, if you have the ability to bring something like that. Highly recommend. But I know if you're in a light unit, that's not possible, but if you have Bradleys or tanks, that's like a super awesome investment. The next thing I'm going to talk about is your lady parts. So this is the big sister in me talking to younger girls who don't really understand how to take care of themselves properly in such a like not clean environment. So I have a couple different things that really help me stay like fresh and clean and healthy down there. The first is that I would always wear panty liners. So if you don't have the ability to like change your underwear every day, which sounds super gross, but like I had all men in my platoon and I didn't have the ability to change my underwear as frequently as I would want, or to just like change my clothes. And so if you don't have the ability to do that, or it's like freezing outside, and you just don't want to do that, if you use a panty liner, you know, you can just change that super frequently and it will keep you cleaner down there. I wouldn't do this more than like a day or 2 extra of, you know, not changing your underwear, but I just think that this is a really useful hack for keeping yourself clean down there when you don't have the ability to change your underwear. But if you do, change your underwear. But this is just an extra, like, keep yourself clean kind of thing. And then on that note, always take stuff like this. These are like feminine wipes, I guess is what they're called, but these are the sensitive kind, like they don't have any fragrance in them. This kind of thing is so important. I know, like, when you're not in the field, this is not necessary. Like, you can take care of yourself just using water, but when you're in the field and you don't have access to that, stuff like this is super, super important. This is the brand, the Honey Pot company, and I've never had any issues with them. I know with some other brands, like Summer's Eve, I think is what it's called, they use a lot of perfume. That stuff's not good for you to have down there. So get something that doesn't have any like perfumes or additives. This is for sensitive, you know, whatever. And then you can also double this as a face wipe. So, you know, you're gonna have a lot of grime and shit on your face at the end of the day. And I don't know about you guys, but I've always really struggled with acne, and my acne was horrible when I was in the field. Like 2019, I looked like I was 13 because I had such bad acne. And my helmet, when I would, my ACH, when I would put it on, like the buckle would go straight across my chin. And I just had this line of horrible cystic acne that I just could not get rid of. So the more you can kind of keep your face clean of bacteria and dirt and grime and stuff, probably the better it'll be for your acne and just skincare in general. So I also keep a bunch of these in my bag. These are just like the little Kleenex things. You can use these on anything, you know, obviously more than just blowing your nose. I just think these are really helpful, and like you can use them for so many things, like I said, and they're so compact and tiny, and you can like stick them in your pocket. Same with those panty liners and the little wipes. That stuff you can just stick, like I would literally just stick like in every pocket, just put a little something in every pocket, just in case I needed one or I ran into another female that needed one. Same with tampons and stuff, like always keep that stuff, even if you're not on your period, I would bring it just in case. And also just in case, again, you run into another girl who's there and she needs one. Always gotta watch out for your girls, and I think it's important to always stay prepared. So I'd like to always have all that stuff on me at all times, just in case. This one is not a necessity, but it is something that I think really made my experience like just a little bit better, because there's gonna be times when you're in the field and you're like, why did I join the Army? Why am I here? This sucks. What am I doing here? What did I do to get myself in this situation? So when times like that happen, I'm a very I like cozy, girly, nice things. Sometimes that makes me feel better. So what I do is I go and buy these little like hand sanitizers from Bath and Body Works. And sometimes I get like the little hand lotions, and mostly just the hand sanitizers though. And they smell really, really good. And I would bring them with me. And so like on times where I just felt so gross and just like not a female at all, or not a human being at all, and just like a dirty, grimy version of myself, just to have like a nice, clean smelling hand sanitizer, just for like, you know, those 5 minutes that you have that scent on your hand and it's clean and you're kind of like washing off the dirt. It is such a nice feeling. It really does make your mental health a lot better. So, I mean, more on that, like if you can do little things like that to make yourself feel like a little bit more like a normal version of yourself and not a gross, nasty version of yourself, it does help with, you know, just your mood in the field. And I think that's, you know, people may say that that doesn't matter and just embrace the suck and be dirty and smell bad and never change your underwear, whatever. But as women, we know we have to take care of ourselves a little bit differently than men do. And it's okay to want to smell clean, and it's okay to want to take care of yourself and to make sure your hair doesn't break off. And for some reason, when I first joined, I was like, no, I have to be gross, just like all the boys, and I have to not care about that stuff. And then as soon as I would get out of the field, I would be paying for it. My hair, like I said, I had to cut it. I just had horrible acne. I just felt like I just was not like a clean, hygienic person. Even though when I got out of the field, obviously did a normal hygiene routine, but it just like, it would wreak havoc on my body. Sunscreen, I don't have a bottle with me right now, but that is another thing that I would highly recommend using on your face, especially. I never did, and I already have like a bunch of like, I want to call them freckles, but I know that they're like sunspots, and I'm only 29, and it's because I literally was in the sun every single day, no sunscreen, beet red face, top of my hands too, and I wish that I had taken the time to really invest in just putting a little sunscreen on, because it doesn't hurt to put fucking sunscreen on your face. In fact, it really helps. So if I could give any big piece of advice for incoming women, just take care of yourself. It's okay to take care of yourself. Don't let anybody make you feel bad for wanting to take care of yourself. Obviously, use your brain. You don't need to be like bougie and lavish and whatever when you go to the field, but you can do little things that make you feel better, so that you can do your job and be more present with, you know, your platoon or whoever you're out in the field with. And I sincerely think there is nothing wrong with that. And I've been in the Army for 6 years, and I feel like most women I've met probably agree with that. So on that note, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. And if I missed anything, please put it in the comments below. Like if you have a tip, I'm sure that there's plenty more that I missed. So I just want, like I said in a couple of videos ago, I just want this to be a community that's like a safe space for women to come. And I think like this just issues that we have, especially in the military, just don't get talked about enough. So this is a space for us to talk about it. So, all right, well, I will see you guys again in my next video. Bye.